Madam Chair, thank you so much. And Mr. Secretary, thank you for being here. Last Congress, we appropriated $47 billion for COVID testing. Do you know how much of those funds still are available?
Congressman, I don't have that number off the top of my head, but if you'd like, I could get back to you on that or your staff.
Yeah, I would appreciate it. We're just trying to figure out if, what the funds are going to be used for, or if Congress is going to need to reappropriate those dollars. If we're not going to be testing, because I believe we, if I'm remembering this correctly, we appropriated an additional $50 billion was provided in March for COVID, and the administration is saying now they won't need but about $13 billion of that, which that's we got $37 billion still sitting there. Do you have any idea, what the intent is going to be with your office on how to use those funds? Are you able to use it in a different way, or once again, is Congress going to need to reappropriate these?
Congressman, excellent question. And what I will tell you is that as you watch what's going on in India and we learn more about these variants that are popping up, we are not done. And no one should get any impression that we are done tackling COVID or whatever comes, the mutations that come from COVID. And so we have to continue an aggressive testing strategy. We have to continue to make investments to prevent the spread of COVID and its variants. And so I will tell you that while I can't tell you exactly how much money is there right now, and I can get back to you on that. And we can certainly make sure that we're keeping you abreast of what the plans are to make sure that we continue to tackle COVID and whatever comes next.
Well, I have no doubt, your dedication to tackling COVID. It's just, with that much money sitting there, what we don't want to see is it's just sitting there and it doesn't go away. What we have a lot of accounts throughout the government that money is just sitting there that Congress appropriated for, and it can't be used. So if there's a better way for us to appropriate it, for instance, as Ms. Dingell was saying with PPE, if we need to reappropriate it for the strategic stockpile, if we need to use it more focused on rural areas, then that's an area. If we need to go to take it to the border, I mean, right now, I think the president requested $4.3 roughly billion for a refugee resettlement camp. And I mean, kind of a question there. Does that $4.3 does that account for what's going on with the Biden border crisis right now on the southern border and the influx of the illegal immigrants?
So I think you asked two different things here. If you want, I can on the question about the resources for testing. I will tell you that we can stay in touch with you. Appreciate your interest and concern. We are going to make sure that whatever resources we have, we will use not only appropriately but transparently. And so we can stay in touch on how we're making the investments to keep Americans safe. On the issue of the border, Congressman, can I ask you to repeat that question one more time?
Well, the reason why I was comparing the two is, do we need to reappropriate those dollars to what's happened on the border with the crisis that's taking place there? Because the president authorized $4.3 billion for the refugee resettlement. And with the influx of the illegal immigrants that's coming across and the high amount of those that are being detained and not being tested, do we need to reappropriate funds to go to that sector?
And Congressman, as you know, we at HHS, we have many obligations. One of them is to make sure we continue to test the American public for COVID. We will continue to do that, and we'll make sure that we're in touch with your office on the resources that it takes to do that. When it comes to the migrant children at the border, we have a responsibility to make sure that their well-being is cared for however long they might be in this country and whatever their ultimate status will be. Our job at HHS is different from DHS. We have to provide the care that we expect for any child. We will do that. Obviously, need resources to make that happen.
Mr. Secretary, it's not just that, it's the adults too. I mean, I fly through Dallas almost every week, and when you go through Dallas, what you'll see is someone walking around with a manila envelope and a card that says no English, and they're being shipped to wherever. And it could be the day before when they were actually apprehended on the border, and there's no way they can be tested that quick. And so before we're letting these people literally be deported or be transported, all over the United States, I think it'd be wise for us to make sure they're being tested. And there's no way they're being tested right now. And so that's why I'm getting at. should we reappropriate those funds to go towards those testing?
Well, I would question the premise that they're not being tested, but I want to make sure that it's clear we have to put the resources where we need them. And at HHS, whether it's a testing issue or with the children at the border, we have put together a responsible proposal to get both of those things done.
Right. I'll yield back, but I would check into the testing.
The gentleman's time. Yeah.
Thank you.
The gentleman's time is expired.